She ain't born, then she born.
Texas, where in a rare move, the airspace is now closed for 10 days. The FAA is halting all flights to and from El Paso International, citing, quote, special security reasons. It's a move that even shocked.
No need to be alarmed. Just special security reasons. We're shutting down all airspace over your town. Don't worry about it. And obviously, look how close it is. El Paso, Mexico, right? Donald Trump doesn't really like those brown people. So, it was looking like that's what he was going to be doing. A little op.
When they heard.
El Paso is going to be shut down to air traffic.
10 days is such a ridiculous amount of time, too. It's like, god damn. Like, you can't fly over the town for 10 days? Like, that's probably so disruptive to, like, commerce and shit. And just, like, people's lives. Like, they're probably scared. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Reasons. Do you know if there's any exceptions for medevac status? That's a great question. There are no exceptions. It's a complete ground stop. And it's a complete ground stop. Not even medevacs are allowed to fly. Wow.
The restrictions will also apply to part of southern New Mexico. It's a rare move. Experts say the U.S. hasn't closed airspace for security since the 9/11 terror attacks.
No reason to be alarmed. We're just closing the airspace for the first time since 9/11. Don't be alarmed at all,
Now to discuss is Mary Schiavo, CNN aviation analyst and former inspector general at the U.S. Department of Transportation. Mary, thank you so much for being here. What I noticed with those air traffic controllers is they're asking what we're asking. Is there a reason? And they say, no, not that they know, but that there's no exceptions, not even medevac. Can you talk about how unusual that is?
Well, it's very unusual, and like you mentioned, not since September 11, 2001. But remember, the grounding of September 11, 2001 came too late. And the FAA is often criticized for being reactive, not proactive. So in order to do this, and the reason it doesn't happen very often is the FAA and, of course, TSA and national security intel agencies have to have a credible threat or a high significant security risk. And that means they have information that something would endanger the air traffic above El Paso in the area, or it poses a danger from the air to people on the ground. And the threat has to show they have some ability to do it. So this isn't.
Damn, I mean, so she's basically saying, like, the only reason they would do this if there was some kind of imminent threat. That's fucked if you live there. Because the first thing that I would have done is Google that shit. And if the thing that I found was, oh, yeah, that means you're under imminent threat. Like, I'm trying to leave town as quickly as possible. Like, the roads are probably stopped up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know these days. Like, it's very turbulent times.
Undoubtedly very serious. And then also it could be military exercises. It could be in support of law enforcement. The FAA can do that for those reasons as well. Or they can do it if they have foreign intelligence, that they don't have all the details yet, but they have enough from a foreign intelligence source, trustworthy, that something presents a huge risk and more details to follow. So there are many reasons they can do it.
Let me follow up then, because
it's so ironic because my dad works at the airport, right? Like, airports are objectively like some of the safest places that you could be, but if shit goes bad in an airport, then that means like mass death, motherfucker. Like, you feel me? Like, if some shit goes wrong with a plane, if someone gets access to a plane, if somebody, like, planes are very powerful tools. I mean, they're basically guidable missiles,
Something specific in the alert, which was called a notice to airmen. It talks about the airspace being closed, and then it has this warning for pilots that, quote, the United States government may use deadly force against the airborne aircraft if it is determined that the aircraft poses an imminent security.
Nothing to be concerned about, just the U.S. government saying that if you fly, then we'll fucking kill you. That's really nothing to be concerned about. Don't worry, El Paso. It's gonna be fine. Just fly your drone and see what fucking happens to you. It's cool. It's fine. It's whatever. It's whatever, bro. Don't worry about it.
Is that standard language?
Well, yes, it is in a very serious case. For example, that was the language after September 11, and that's the language if you stray too close, even as a private pilot, to air bases or facilities where you may not go. They will usually send an escort. Sometimes they send an escort just for training. I got one once in Ohio, but
Well, I mean, whatever. Like, this shit is old anyway because they opened up the airspace again. It looks like it was just another Trump branded fuck up.
She ain't born, then she born.
Air traffic is flying into and out of El Paso International Airport in Texas this afternoon following an emergency shutdown ordered late last night. Now, sources tell CBS News the FAA grounded all flights due to disagreements between the FAA and the Pentagon over drone-related tests.
So don't worry, guys. Trump didn't start another war. It's just another case of him being a dumbass. Of the Department of Defense being dumbasses now. You know what I mean? Because look, this probably does have like a darker implication just because El Paso is so close to Mexico and Trump has already floated that he wants to do strikes in Mexico. So in reality, like they were probably just putting the dominoes in place for them to eventually do that. However, there was some kind of dispute in like the bureaucracy of it. This is what it's looking like that led to airspaces being shut down. You know what I mean? And way to give them a heads up. You know what I mean? Or anything that's over there, your South America get put on notice. They shouldn't have let Bad Bunny do that fucking Super Bowl performance because Trump's gonna want some revenge on the Latinx people pretty soon. Am I right? Like,
Paso's mayor called the decision to close the airport an unnecessary one that scared and caused chaos in his community.
I want to be very, very clear that this should have never happened. You cannot restrict airspace over a major city without coordinating with the city, the airport, the hospitals, the community leadership. That failure to communicate is unacceptable.
is El Paso a major city? I mean, yeah, I guess.
These types of decisions have consequences.
All right, I want to go now to CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie Daggett. This was alarming, Charlie. What more do we know?
I'm sure he's
Yeah, Liz, you mentioned the word alarming, and I have to mention what my colleagues use the word spat, because that is what it appears to be between the FAA, the Pentagon, the White House, and others, just broadsided everybody to hear that this warning, this notice to airmen, NOTAM as they call it, went out. And it's something that you have to take seriously, and of course it's going to send jitters to anybody in that region. It's going to close down that airspace.
Plus, this is Texas that we're talking about. Like, those motherfuckers are on edge pretty naturally. It doesn't really take much for them, in my opinion.
Because it's essentially saying it's not safe to fly here. That is the number one responsibility of the FAA. Now, you're looking at those images there, and I've been there several times. You've got Fort Bliss, which sits right up against that airport. And there is testing that goes on there, and a lot of it's overt, some of it's covert, of counter-drone equipment that's being used there. And as we've already described, high energy lasers is part of that. Now, obviously, there's a lot of communication between the U.S. military down there and the commercial airport to avoid situations like this, a sort of deconfliction, say these things are happening. But we also have to point out that these Mexican cartels, not far from the Mexican border there, they have been trying and advancing their own drone programs, most of these surveillance drones that are coming in. The U.S. military is trying to find a way to offset the threat of those drones.
I mean, that sounds like some bullshit to me. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's already shit flying around that there's like cartel drones. Like, the Mexican cartel has drones, and, Trump is just trying to stop the drones. It sounds like bullshit to me. It just sounds like a pretense to attack them, right? Like, that's all it is. And I hate to be like, oh, don't trust anything the government says, because most of the time, or at least historically, the motherfuckers saying that shit are pretty stupid, right? Like, they think everything is a conspiracy. But everything is a conspiracy now, at least, if it wasn't before. You know what I mean? Or the conspiracy is just much more easy to follow, much more out in the open. Like, there's really no finesse to it. It's like the trailer park version of like all the bullshit, you know. I don't believe the cartel drone shit, bro. I believe that they're getting ready to strike Mexico. They're looking for a pretense. That's my prediction.
She ain't born, she was born.